Hello, fabulous friends, fans, superstars, students. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for, my goodness, 14 years as a full-time astrologer. It's really very exciting. I don't even remember the last time I did a live. I don't know if this is either showing up or going well, but if you're here, please do comment. I'm just trying this out to see how it is that it goes. And because I thought it was really appropriate for me to come onto YouTube to say thank you. Every year I do a live party when I am celebrating my anniversary, and I always do it on Facebook. And I was like, let me try and figure out how to do it on YouTube. So you'd never know that I am an Aquarius sun based on how long it took me to just figure out how to do a live on YouTube. But it's really good to be here. Thank you to everybody who's congratulating from Saskatchewan, my fellow Canadian, welcome. Happy full moon, Stephen. Thank you so much. I know it is a powerful one. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate the love so much. And so one reason I did also want to come on live is because I want to thank my team so very much. I have amazing people who help me in what it is that I do. Of course, in the beginning, it was just me standing in front of a camera and then sitting in front of a camera and talking and uploading it. And that just has to do with YouTube. But YouTube has been such a big part of my journey as a full-time astrologer. I've been on YouTube for almost 12 years now. And so I feel like YouTube was this incredible force of just great blessings in my life. And that includes all the amazing people who are here as well. Thank you. And so I have an amazing team, and they have been very busy because the site ran into some problems. So basically, I know that there are a lot of people who, like in the months leading up to my anniversary, they know, especially if you've been watching me for a while, or I have been your astrologer in one way or another for a while, that every year on the 1st of September, I have a 24-hour sale. It is the biggest sale of the year that I do. And I know that there are people who look forward to it and wait for it. And then they came onto the site, and then there were some technical issues that were happening. And so I'm hoping that we've got them like sort of ironed out. But if you should run into any technical problems, please be patient with us. I know a lot of people are trying to come on to take advantage of the very, like really the lowest discounts that I do, the biggest discounts that I do at any time of the year. And thank you for your trust. It means so much to me that there are so many people out there who love what it is that I have to share. So thank you. So let's see. Yes, as I said, this is my, I remember doing a YouTube live, but it didn't go too well. I tried to do it from my iPad when I was 10 years, when it was my 10-year anniversary. Now I'm 14. YouTube was showing me that I did something at 13 years, but I don't really remember that too much. It's possible. I might have just tried to upload something, but it's really nice to be actually doing a full-on stream. Biggie is floating around here somewhere behind me as well, so I'm glad that I get to share this with him. Thank you, Jay, for the congratulations. Hello, everybody. Thank you for the hellos, everyone. Thank you, Imagine. I hope I'm saying that right. Thank you, Ascension. Hello in Zambia. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Stephen. Lydia in Bangkok. My Bangkok event got postponed, as you may know. I was supposed to be there in April. It was supposed to be April. And so that has been postponed to 2021. I'm very hopeful that Jupiter moving into Aquarius at the end of the year in December is helpful in people getting together. And I know that Saturn is still going to be in Aquarius right into 2023. All this social distancing stuff started to really kick in as soon as Saturn went into Aquarius. But I'm hoping that Jupiter expands and brings some wonderful news on that front. And so 2021, that is my anticipation. Hello, Tina in BC. I am going to be in BC in October for the entire month. And so I was planning to very safely, with protocols in place, connect to people to do consultations, a few in-person consultations. I thought that could be a lot of fun. And I just love BC so much. It'll be Vancouver, of course, but I am looking forward to exploring more of Canada, more of BC, because I do have a Sag moon. I love exploring. I find myself when I have something new to learn or some new experience to have. And so I'm going to be exploring Canada, a little bit of Canada, not a whole lot, but some of Canada I will be exploring this fall. Oh, thank you, Banafshe. Thank you for saying that. Michael Barwick is going to be doing the speaker series. So I know, right? He is so brilliant. Thank you so much for saying that, because he is a very dear friend of mine. He is one of the people that I consider my astrologer, and I consider him my own personal Jupiter. So it is so lovely that you would call him out and mention him, because that means so much to me. And yes, he and I have talked about doing more on YouTube, but he will be doing the speaker series. And so we've extended the choose your tuition rate as low as $5 a class. That is extended into today because of the anniversary sale. And so you get to hear really incredible astrologers, including Michael Barwick, teaching on fixed stars. So I think that's going to be a lot of fun, learning about fixed stars from him. I just think he's a brilliant astrologer. And he's a friend of mine, and I love him so much. But I will take that into consideration, and I'm going to say to him, look, we gotta do more events on YouTube itself. Jay wants to see my dog. Well, look, if the dog does come up, I will. Biggie had unexpectedly become ill. It was very scary for a couple of days. He's now almost back, 100%, almost. He has to go to the vet every day. But I was supposed to travel back last Friday, and I didn't because he was in hospital. So now that I know he's going to be okay, can you guys see him back there? Biggie. Oh, look at that little face. Oh, yeah. Look at that little face. I love the face. Okay, there you go. You saw him, Jay. There he is. Look, he's a little angel over my shoulder, right? Hey, Biggie. Hi. Come here, Biggie. Up. Vamos. Vamos. Arriba. Arriba. Yeah, I see. That's my Spanish. That's how anybody, when I try to speak Spanish, even after 8 years in Mexico, to this day, when I'm speaking Spanish, I get that look that Biggie just gave me. Like, what are you trying to say? I think I'm supposed to understand this, but I don't know. So that's what that is. Thank you, Leo. Happy full moon to you as well. And let's see. Oh, thank you, Anna. My love to you as well. 6 years. Wow. And Alaska. I'd love to see Alaska one day. I've heard great things, but I think Alaska as well has a very strong indigenous population, and that extends into Canada. And I'm going to be very close to Alaska, not in Alaska, but I'm going to be in Yellowknife at the very beginning of October to see the Northern Lights. So I'll make a video about that. I will post that. And I'm really, really excited to see the Aurora Borealis. I've heard that it changes your life. And I think for me as an astrologer, it will be that much more meaningful. And Alaska is one of those places I really want to see. I've heard how powerful and mystical it is. But thank you for the love. Thank you, Adele. Hello, Nancy in Tennessee. Thank you. If I missed you, my apologies. Like if I scroll, I'm trying to say hi to everybody as much as possible. But if I end up scrolling and I don't end up acknowledging, my apologies. Thank you, Maybelline. My love to you as well. Thank you, Pooja in Toronto. My parents live just outside Toronto, about 90 minutes outside of Toronto. And so I will be quarantining there. In Canada, there's a mandatory quarantine. Planning to go home on Friday and quarantine at my parents' house. They'll be very happy to have me, I know. And so I'll be in the GTA. Thank you, Marcia. You've been with me for a while. Thank you so much. Oh, yay, Stephen. So Sag moon, sun in Pisces. So this full moon in Pisces, you would be feeling that much more. It'll bring all that emotion up to the surface, right? The truth of who you are. Thank you, VM. I'm looking forward to being in BC. I just want to see the mountains. Like I feel it. I just need to see mountains. And I was communicating earlier today. I'm going to be staying in a rental, and I was saying I need a mountain view. That's what I need, so that I can see the mountains and I can do my work and I can, connect with you guys, but also enjoy the air. I love the energy out there. Thank you, Amy. Thank you for the love. Thank you, PLS. Let's see. It's bouncing a little bit. I know that there's quite a few comments. My apologies. Kaylin asked about folks who have birthdays in two different zodiacs. Okay, so what that's called is a cusp, being born on a cusp. And I have a video that I made about that a few years back. So you can hear all about my opinion in that video. But essentially, I feel that you're born on a cusp. Certain planets like Venus and Mercury travel close to the sun at all times. So it is possible to have your sun in one sign, but feel more like another sign just because of where Mercury and Venus are in your chart. But either you're going to be at the very end of one sign or your sun is going to be at the very beginning of the next. I don't believe that this idea of being both, having your sun in two signs, doesn't exist. It is your sun is in one sign or the other. But if you have a variety of planets in that general area of the sky, it can feel as if you have these two different parts of you. Or you just might have a lot of air in your chart, and that makes you feel like you got a lot of different parts of you too. Yeah, I've been in Mexico for almost 8 years now. Of course, I visit home a lot, and I've traveled a lot. It is second nature to me. So, but I have considered Mexico home, and it's a very near and dear to my heart. Well, happy birthday, November 22nd, coming up. Thank you, Robin, for the congratulations. Sam Khan. So I would encourage you. I actually did my dissertation on Ibn Arabi, and I talk all about the early Islamic period and astrology and how astrology moved from a polytheistic context into a monotheistic context as a result of the astrologers of that time in the Arab world. And so it's called the unity of being. And that dissertation is on my website. The academic title was The Unity of Being, it's been so long since I said it, early Islamic cosmogony and cosmology as evidenced in the writings of Ibn Arabi. That is some academic title right there, right? So I hope that helps you out. There's a lot of like the citations in there as well can give you even more to understand. So I hope that helps. Thank you. Oh, Stephen's lived in California. I love California as well. The West Coast is very powerful, but California, I have been there a couple of times and it's very special. And I've been meaning to go back. I was invited to go back and I've been meaning to, and I look forward to that. Hello, Rebecca in St. Louis. Thank you. YouTube just jumped, so I skipped over a couple people here, so my apologies. Thank you, Annette, Channel for Grace. Shruti, thank you for the congratulations. Sharita, thank you. Thank you, Chandra, so much. Chandra in India. Oh, yay. Ariana's been with me. Thank you for the love, everybody. I'm seeing some familiar names, seeing some new names. I love learning about the different placements that you guys have in your chart. Thank you, Jana. Jana has been with me for a while in Prague. Thank you. And I know that you've been with me for a while, and I appreciate it so much. Years now you've been with me, so thank you. Oh, I touched my mic. I hope that's okay. Okay, Imagine is in Mexico, was from Mexico City and now lives in the US. I love Mexico City. Mexico City is one of my very favorite places in the world. And I was actually there, I think it was last weekend, that not this most recent week, but the weekend before, that I had to make a very quick trip to Mexico City. So I recorded the weekly video scope from there, from my Airbnb in there, anyways. I have somebody that I always, that has a bunch of units that I always call up directly. And so I feel like I have this second home. And I lived in Mexico City for 6 months, been mostly in Cancun here in Mexico. Thank you, Tina, Marvelous Mary, Donna. Hi, Christelle, Jennifer, thank you so much. Thank you, Joan, for the wishes for many more. And Susie said, I'm from Northern Ontario, Canada. Yay. Hoping September brings major changes as this Cancer Sun Aries moon has been tested to the brink of confusion in life. Well, look, Aries moon, and you know, right now you've got Mars retrograde taking place in your sign. And so that Mars is not retrograde yet, but the season, the larger shadow has begun. And then Mars is going to go retrograde this month on the 9th. And so it is going to be that change of Mars on the 9th of September, the 14th of November, when Mars goes direct. These are going to be really important dates for you if you have strong Aries energy in your chart, like a sun, like a moon, like a rising sign. That is when you are going to connect with a deeper determination. And so, yes, for the Aries, it's not necessarily the easiest year. I will say that it happens. But really, I think it's part of 2020. I think 2020 is one of those years. And you might remember I spoke of this some in the decade ahead video that I did. And I talked about even in the year ahead video that I did, where I said, everything is going to change this decade. I mean, I look at these massive changes taking place. The year of 2020 begins with a once in 500 year transit of Pluto and Saturn. It ends with the last time we had Saturn conjunct Jupiter in Aquarius. That was way back in like 600 years ago. And so we have these rare phenomenons taking place. We've got all these retrogrades taking place. And then once we navigate further into the decade, there's going to be 1 year there where Neptune's just at 29 degrees for almost the entire year, 29 of Pisces. That is considered, and I hate to use this word, please don't misunderstand, but the term is a critical degree. What we also call it is an anorectic degree. And what that is intensity. And then we have planets, and particularly Pluto, I'm thinking about, moving between the anorectic degrees of Capricorn and moving into Aquarius and then back and, forth again. And it is going to be, by the time we get to the end of the decade, right now, as we're starting the decade, there's this water of Neptune and all this earth energy. And by the time we get to the end of the decade, it's air and it's fire with Neptune and fire. But it's Uranus and Pluto in air. It is going to be a very different orientation that we take to the world, and what we understand matters, and our values, and how we know ourselves. And I do think that we're just on this very brink between this world that may seem very archaic by the time we get to the end of the decade, because when we think about the information age, we are so in its infancy. Calling this the information age is going to look archaic by the time we get to the end of the decade, with how much the world and our online lives are going to become so powerfully integrated. our bodies start to become more integrated with technology as well. So there's a lot of great things, of course, and then there are things that we may want to be careful with, and we can decide to amplify the stuff that's very promising and very good. So Leo, I have 2 videos, I think, on Eastern or Vedic versus Western astrology. So please have a look at that, where I dive into very deep. And I was actually thinking about this earlier today, because every culture, past, present, and future, has an astrology. And astrology is a living practice, and it is whatever the people need it to be. It is a reflection of the people that it serves. And Vedic astrology is rooted in the Vedas, which are sacred texts in the larger Hindu diaspora. And it is Eastern culture, because I feel like I have, both, right? I was born and raised in the West by parents who loved Western values. And I am, of course, of South Asian descent. So I have that Eastern part of me as well. And I feel and I understand that there is a different orientation of the individual to the world around them that takes place between the 2 different cultures. South Asian culture in particular, where the Vedas and Vedic astrology comes from, is rooted in a worldview where the family is the nucleus of society. But Western culture is where the individual is the nucleus of society. And so that makes for very different interpretations and techniques and calculations even. And it is Vedic astrology that had its own growth that has continued along a line. But very recently we start seeing Eastern astrology, Vedic astrology become more psychological with the rise of the middle class in India in particular, this booming middle class that's happening there. Because to be middle class is to believe that you can affect your future, right? And so it's remarkable to see in real time how astrologies around the world are evolving and continuing to evolve. But for me, I practice Western astrology, and Western astrology had its own sort of line of evolution. There were moments when Vedic astrology spoke to or influenced Western astrology, but when I think of my lineage, my family history, and the way that I was taught astrology, it is more rooted in the tradition of Western astrology. So I hope that helps, and please check out that video. But yes, I was thinking about how, because at the new moon I did, and I have this study group that I do with one of my books, Prayers to the Sky, and people come on and they can ask questions about the planet for that month, and then we do a prayer meditation together to understand the energy of a planet. And we were talking about Jupiter, this recent new moon, and somebody was saying, well, in Vedic astrology, Jupiter has to do with children. And I thought that was so fascinating, because that isn't really the correlations that we make in modern Western astrology. And I thought it was interesting because I know how in Eastern culture, children are seen as a blessing, and children are seen as, the great blessing that you can do, the way in which your world gets better, and all good things come as a result of having a family, of having children. And that isn't necessarily true for everybody, and especially in the Western mind, the Western paradigm. And so children are seen differently. They're more symbolized by the sun. And also, of course, you want to look at the 5th house, the ruling planet in the 5th house. I'm getting a little technical here. But to me, that was very interesting. And I'm thinking also about the nodes of the moon. So I wrote, my most recent book is called The Universe is Wise and Loving, and it's about the nodes of the moon. And my understanding of the nodes of the moon is very shaped by, it isn't true to the principles of evolutionary astrology, but it certainly is evolutionary astrology and psychological astrology, mystical astrology, I would say, that has heavily influenced my understanding of the nodes. but the nodes of the moon are interpreted very differently in Vedic astrology. So there are these discrepancies here, but my friend once said that, there are these very different techniques and different ways of interpreting things, and yet we kind of all end up in the same place. And I do think that if you practice astrology, we are a part of them all, like we are connected to each other, we are family. And so, yeah, it's that was what got me really thinking about it earlier today, especially. Thank you, Karen, for the congratulations. Thank you, Amy, for your insights. Yeah, I understand that. Feeling that sense of universality, that sense of connection to different cultures, and from the heart as well. Thank you, Steen, PLS Steen. You're the best. Thank you, Morgana, for the congrats. And Ivana said, I discovered you recently when I realized I would love to get into astrology deeper. Oh, wonderful. From Slovakia. Thank you for being here. Thank you for discovering me. How lovely. Chantel, I do by request, and I do personalized horoscope videos, and there is a waiting list, and so you can just use the contact form on my website, and there should be a waiting list that you can go on, and as it opens up, as I know I'll be able to do them, then I do those. And then when I'm traveling, if I know that my schedule will allow, I'll do some in-person consultations, as I am going to be doing in Vancouver in October. Real de Catorce. I don't know if I have, Carmen. I am here. I've been rooted in Cancun for the last few years, and I know that, especially in the first couple of years, I traveled around the region a lot, the Yucatan, especially in Quintana Roo. And so I was really into the archaeological zones and the ancient sites, the sacred sites, the temples, the pyramids, and I visited a lot of those. So maybe along the way I did. Thank you, Grace. That is the nicest thing. Thank you for your congratulations. I love that. Thank you. So karma on a horoscope. Well, my hope is, Akshat, is that it is through astrology that we become more wise, that we illuminate ourselves and our karma so that we can consciously direct it towards higher principles of love and wisdom. That's what I believe is part of the best that astrology can be. And I actually do believe that your awareness clears karma. Like you having the realization of where it is that you would have done things differently, you would have done things better, where it was that perhaps you behaved in a way that wasn't rooted in love and wisdom. That awareness in and of itself can clear you from what the consequences of that might otherwise be. Maybe I should write something about that at some point as well. But I actually do think, like when I look at the world today, I feel like so much of what we see in terms of people and what's happening in their hearts and their souls is rooted in a fear of karma. And so out of that fear, there's this perpetuation of things that ultimately are perpetuating hurt, perpetuating harm. But it is the awareness of that, instead of letting the fear of karma drive you, just the awareness of the fear existing can go a very long way towards authentic healing all around. Thank you, Jean. Yes, Shruti, I had a speaking event in India, in Kolkata, back in, how long ago? It was 2017, beginning of 2017, that ended up not coming to fruition because the universe. I had this whole tour that was starting in India and then going on to Europe. And so the India leg is now postponed for a little while. I have people that I love in India. My grandparents were born in Amritsar in northern India. So I do hope to visit someday. I haven't been to the region at all. I've never been to South Asia. And so I hope, and I was supposed to go this year. I have tried to go to the region a bunch of times, and it just never comes together. And I think maybe that is, I remember reading one interpretation. I forget whose interpretation it was. I think it was in my astrological studies, reading an interpretation of something in my chart that said, this person will live in exile from their native land or something like that. Will make home in a foreign land. It was something to that effect. I don't remember the exact wording, and I wish I could quote exactly who it was. But I found that so intriguing because I remember watching the Canadian Olympics, the opening ceremony of the Olympics in 2010 when we had it in Vancouver, and I cried. I cried out of love and pride and dedication to my country, which I have felt as Canada, which I've always kind of felt as, I have felt very Canadian throughout my life. And I found that so intriguing and so interesting that on some level deep within, yeah, it is kind of like an exile, isn't it? Every time I've tried to go to South Asia, it just never works out. And I've tried a few different places in South Asia as well. Just something happens. I could tell you stories. The things that got canceled at the last minute, the tickets I had to change at the last minute. The one time I just got a job and I needed the job at the time. And I was like, you know what? Okay, I have this trip planned, but I just got this job and I've got to be sure to show up for the job. So I think that traveling, it's one of those things where you are where it is that you're supposed to be. And I think that is true for our journey through life as well. Thank you, Carmen. Oh, Pisces sun signs, have a look at the monthly horoscope that I did for Pisces for September. It should have published by now. I guess it didn't, but that's okay. I'm surprised, but that's okay. I can very quickly do that while I'm here with you guys to make sure that it is published. I'm pretty sure you're just seeing my webcam and not behind the scenes of YouTube Studio, of my channel. I just finished this wonderful, it wasn't published yet. I'll make sure to do it. I think, my team has been so busy, bless their heart. They have been trying to get the website to operate as best as possible because right away, as soon as that first email went out, right away, the website started having issues. So let me see here, visibility and public and update. Okay. Let's hope I didn't make anything public that is not supposed to be public. I don't have anything very private on my YouTube channel, don't worry. Yes, there you go. So the monthly horoscopes are now public. It is superstars who get early access to the monthly horoscopes. And so just now those were published. So there we go. It's just published right now. See, Nadiya Shah. So turn your notifications on so that you know whenever videos are made public right away. But because superstars get early access, they had that access. And then today it was supposed to go public for everybody. But I'm sure my team has been so busy. So I understand. Yeah, NASA, that's a great point. Pisces full moons can denote closure. And I spoke about that in the week ahead video as well, because Pisces by its very nature has to do with a dissolving quality. But the fact that Uranus is sextile to this full moon, speaking in harmony, as I like to say, to me, it suggests that these are going to be closures that we are grateful for, that resonate with something honest within us, that allow us to feel like we're aligning with a more fortunate future. Thank you, Zan. Zan85 is commenting right now in the live chat. If you guys have not already, check out his channel. He does these daily readings, these tarot readings, and they are brilliant. And Zan85 gives a lot of love to my channel, and I appreciate you so much. but his channel really, I feel, there are some people who, that hundreds of people are watching them or thousands of people are watching them, but I feel like tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people need to know this person. And Zan85 is one of those people because he gives so much and his readings are that good that I always rave about how brilliant he is. The other person is Cosmic Homegirl, April, and she's going to be doing the first class in the speaker series that starts tomorrow, Wednesday, right? And so just right now for a few more hours, I think 8 hours left in the sale. It's as low as $5 a class with the choose your own tuition rate. So you'll be able to speak or you'll be able to hear her. But she's going to be teaching on Saturn and Aquarius. And the reason that I asked her to be part of it, part of my very first speaker series, is because she's just a really, really good astrologer. She's such a good astrologer. And I think that, she's one of the best out here right now. And I would love for people to know her and just celebrate her. Like that's it. That's what I think. Like, when I see somebody putting love into the world, I just want everybody to know it. It's like honestly who I am. Amma said, I met you in Boston when you came to visit with my family. Oh, thank you. That was so special to me. And it was 2015. And if I remember correctly, and I remember that I had initially planned to do consultations, and then the tragedy in Paris happened, and I just felt like I just wanted to meet people and hug people. And that was the first time I did like a get together or gathering of any kind in Boston. And this lovely group of people showed up, and they came bearing gifts and hugs and love, and we sat and we talked, and it was just the most beautiful thing and it was one of those moments, one of the really first important moments where I realized like, wow, I am reaching people with what I do. Like my work is meaningful to people. And I knew it because I get emails and comments and things, and I appreciate that. But to actually meet people and hold their hands and touch them and hug them and to see their eyes and to know like, wow, this person was that motivated to actually come out when it's cold and sit at a table and meet me because my work means something to them. It changed me. It was a defining turning point actually for me. So thank you for being a part of that. Thank you, Michael. My love to you as well. I appreciate it. Yes, absolutely. Amma, please use the contact form on my website. Always happy to connect and collaborate in some way, share people who are part of putting love and wisdom in the world. Mostly it is about, I've hosted a lot of people on my channel, and I'm very happy to do that, So I'm very happy to do that. And yeah, thank you, Zan85. Thank you. Oh, great. You ordered your Melissa ordered Mars special horoscope. Yes. And actually today, special horoscopes are 50% off. So if anybody out there is like, oh, $2.99, I don't know. Well, today it's $150 or $149, something like that. That's one of the sales. So, like I said, this 24-hour period has the biggest discounts that I ever do. And it really is to say thank you. A lot of things I make available at cost, like signed copies of my book, are basically going to be at cost. Once I factor in shipping costs and printing costs and all of that, the cost that I have to pay to actually have the book and then ship it out, it ends up being almost at cost. But it means so much to me that it means something to people to get a signed copy of my book. And all my classes are 50% off. All my specials are 50% off. I have a 40% off discount code for Cosmogram. And if you don't have those codes, I have a 15% discount code for Intention Beads, my newest sponsor. So if you don't have those codes and things, you can still sign up to my newsletter. To go on nadiyashah.com, scroll down to the bottom and sign up to the newsletter. And then those codes will come right to your inbox. But I can say, let me see if I have that code. Yeah, people are saying that, oh no, the website, yikes. And I'm so sorry about that. So we are going to figure something out with that. The sale is supposed to end at midnight Eastern Standard Time, but I think what we may have to do is extend it just a little bit, just because there are so many people coming on. And thank you. Thank you for your love and your trust. I appreciate it. Thank you, everybody. Oh, I'm so sorry, Akshat, about COVID. You know, I was saying at the beginning or earlier on that I am really looking forward to Jupiter going into Aquarius, and especially Jupiter meeting Saturn in Aquarius. I think that is a very hopeful sign that there are going to be advances in technology and medicines and the kind that can make things a lot more stable and can change things for the better. So I would be on the lookout to what is happening in December in particular. Right now, there are a few different things we look at when we consider what's happening with COVID. And I mean, I'm thinking about a few different things in my mind. I'm thinking about the fact that Saturn going into Aquarius was the social distancing and meeting Mars, right? Conjunct Mars, it accelerated this all of a sudden social distancing thing. And right now we're in Mars retrograde season. Mars will retrograde very soon on September 9th. And so all of this can speak to what is happening physically, especially where it comes to things like Mars connecting to heat and fevers. And so I think we are going to have to be on the lookout for that there. I'm hoping the full moon next month, at the very beginning of next month, or the very end of September, beginning of October. It actually is October 1st or 2nd, depending on where you are on the planet. It's conjunct Chiron. And I'm very hopeful that that helps us in some way, that illuminates healing in some way, especially where it comes to alternative therapies. But Jupiter is in Capricorn as well. And Jupiter is also associated with things like medicine, and Neptune has been associated with viruses. But in particular, Jupiter in Capricorn is not strong, right? Like Jupiter doesn't like to be in Capricorn. And so once Jupiter changes signs, I think that can be very hopeful as well. That's, yeah, Zan85, he has such great astrological knowledge too. He always brings this other perspective. I always share when I post things on Instagram, and he's always somebody who comments there and brings a whole other layer of understanding. He's utilizing asteroids and stuff as well. So he's talking here about that the great conjunction, right, in Aquarius. Well, thank you so much. Thank you. So somebody here is saying about vivid dreams. Yeah, I think Pisces is an energy of dreams, right? It is a very dreamy energy at that. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Lee, Tandon, Estan, NASA. I appreciate you guys so much, each and every one of you. And okay, NASA's saying Uranus and Taurus during the Great Depression. The last time Uranus was in Taurus, I believe, was 80 years ago, about 85 years ago. The Great Depression, was that about that time as well? I think that, I don't think it's that simple to say, this planet moves here, therefore this. Uranus is a planet of innovation, and it speaks to independence. And of course, Taurus is an energy that is about currency, and it's about how we exchange money, what we understand as valuable. And I did speak again about this at length in the Uranus special horoscope of Uranus and Taurus. So please have a look at that, because I think I spoke for over an hour just about Uranus and Taurus. But I think it's more about more people becoming more independent where it comes to what is happening financially. And there's this great book called Free Agent Nation by Daniel Pink. And in this book, he talks about how the future economy, how the future economy is going to be driven by self-employment and independent employment. And I feel like that is a very big trend as a part of this as well. So I hope that that helps. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. One of my beautiful persons of my team just sent me an email and said, what do I tell people about the website? So I know, I thank you again. I thank you. And I thank each and every one of you. Thank you for being with me, whether you've been with me for 14 years, whether you've been with me for 12 years on YouTube, whether you just discovered me. Each and every one of you means something to me. And for that, I am so, so very grateful. Thank you. And thank you for being here to celebrate 14 years. Wow. To be part. And again, YouTube Live on my laptop, we might have to do this again, don't we? We will do this again. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for your congrats. For those of you on the replay, for those of you catching live, thank you. Okay. And I will see you this weekend on YouTube, in the superstar space, all of it. Okay. Take care, everybody. My love to you all. It'll be a great year and the next 14, right? Okay. Take care. Bye.